Hey guys, KillerPigeon back with another one of these daily vlogs, day number 5. And today I thought we'd go over something which is quite recent, I can relate to because I'm still in the midst of recovery. And that would be a broken arm and, well, any break really, and kind of like the side of it that people don't see, right? So it's this whole idea that we can see the physical damage, but the kind of emotional and mental fatigue damage, whatever we call it, has on people is usually not like as apparent. It's something I never really thought of until recently when I had the break, because before this one, I last had an injury in about '05, I think, around '05. So long time ago, and it wasn't really in the forefront of my mind back then. But for a little bit of background for those that are wondering, like what I'm talking about, my arm looks fine. Shut up, pigeon. This is still in recovery. I'm in the midst of recovery from a broken arm, which occurred midway actually through me doing a gig out here in Ukraine. I hopped on a balance board. There was an underground ring led by Ukrainian mafia that were, taking bets on who can last longest on the balance board. I looked like a rookie. Turned out I was S tier class, and I was lasting too long. They didn't want to lose all their money or declare me the drift king of the Ukrainian underworld. Therefore, they knocked the board, kicking me off, flying across the room, breaking my arm. That's the official story, and I'm sticking to it. Shut up. But basically, balance board, flying, broke arm. I guess I wanted to be a real pigeon for a few seconds before descending to earth. So that caused a break in my arm. I remember at the time I didn't want to go to the hospital. This is like the worst time, by the way, to need to go to the hospital. Of course, with COVID-19 being rampant everywhere, you want to try and avoid those type of places, public places, as much as possible. So I recall the We Play folks, lovely, wonderful people, all be like, we need to take you to hospital. You need to go to hospital. I'm like, I'm fine. I remember going back to the hotel and waiting until midnight and just like phoning my talent manager being like, yeah, no, we need to go. Not like with this hand, by the way. It had to be this hand, because this hand was like, my movements were literally just, I could do this and this. And I recall like going to one of my other talents, like, this is all I can do with my arm. And we were like, well, you'll be good until the morning, right? I was like, no, we're going. This is the same guy that kept saying, it's fine, you're fine. Definitely wasn't. So it ended up being a break. We didn't know that first because it was too swollen to see on the x-rays. We went back for a second one, then we found out. I was told I'd have the cast on for another week, take it off, and within 2 weeks I need to have a full range of motion. We are approaching 1 week of cast off. It'll be 1 week of having it off once Monday hits. And so far, I have a lot of motion, but not full motion, right? So let's get that's the backstory. Let's get back to what I'm talking about, right? Which is the emotional, psychological damage, the side that you don't really see. Something that I hadn't appreciated before, and I sure as hell with people when I see them injured like that will most definitely in the future. First off, you feel invalid. You just feel completely incompetent or incapable. Things that were so simple are now a struggle for you, and you can't do them, right? So I would spend over double the time brushing my teeth because I'm right-handed, right? So that's actually what makes it even worse, is when it's your dominant arm. My dominant arm was in a cast, so I had to learn everything anew with my left hand. I'd never brushed my teeth with my left hand before. It was a nightmare and a mess. There was just white stuff flying everywhere. And that would be toothpaste. But that was just the beginning of it, right? Like, you're in this situation where you're in quarantine, and that part kind of got worse when the tournament ended, because at least the tournament I had something to do in the day. Then I'm just sitting in a hotel trying to play video games, one-handed with the wrong hand, and I'm the type of guy that plays a lot of MOBAs, FPSs, these fast-paced games that need both hands. So that was kind of invalidating. It felt demeaning. And it's also that feeling of just being broken. Like, you're not whole, you're not yourself. And what made it worse is you're in a foreign country, right? So, like, if you need something, you don't want to, like, pester these people. Even these people like your talent manager who's there for those things. You feel really, I've always felt really rude or inappropriate about doing it. I try and avoid it when I can. It's not like you're at home and your mum's close by, or, your sister, your girlfriend, or whatever. It's like family, right? Where you feel a little bit maybe easier about asking for that help. And it's that case you feel really alone. Like, no one else can relate to what you're going through in that moment unless you've joined a broken arm quartet. I'm not sure what you do in a broken arm quartet. Definitely wouldn't play the violin. But it's it's an extension of beyond that. Like you feel like a burden, right? So this is the thing, you shouldn't feel ashamed to ask for help. People like they don't think less of you because you're in that situation and you need help because it's not a regular situation to find yourself in. But for me personally, I don't like being a burden, I guess. I like being my own person and just like I like being the enabler. If anything from the previous videos, you can kind of tell like what I was talking about. I'm the person that helped finish other people's work instead of my own. So I don't like this idea of like people needing to pile on help for me. So I would kind of do things. I would keep trying to do things to the point where it was just bad and incredibly inefficient. I recall one night I'd ordered like Uber Eats. I ordered some soup, right? Because I want simple things to eat. There's no way I was going to grab a burger with one hand. That was going to be messy. So I ordered soup. And on one night, like I spent over 20 minutes trying to open the plastic sheet, the plastic wrap they put around the soup to make sure it didn't spill. And I ended up like ripping, like basically breaking the box a little bit and spilling a crap load on my desk, which was in the hotel, very close to the computer, but that didn't get touched. And then another night, after like 20 minutes, I had to give up and like submit that I needed help. Liz Admir, who was next door, so I asked him to come. He opened it up for me. I bribed him with some food. Of course, I didn't need to because he's a good lad. He would have came and helped. But it's that case like you keep doing things yourself, like because you don't want help. People be like, "Do you need me?" They try and open the door for the car when we're going places, or like, "You need help getting out." It's like, no, like, and you see like a grumpy old man sort of thing. But it's that fact, like to an extent, you need to be able to try and do that yourself and go through the stupid phase because otherwise, that feeds this mental state of uselessness, right? And it's just a spiraling path of ugh. And to go back to that like relearning thing, I thought when the cast came off, like yeah, game on, right? We're good again. But then because you've been in that cast state for a while and you start to get used to certain things, other things are now foreign which weren't before, right? So you're using both hands to like pick up a bottle or whatever. I had to remind myself that I could do that. And then also because you don't have full range of motion, there's things you keep trying to do with your right hand and assist with your right hand that you just can't, and it ends up making crap 10 times worse because it's painful and everything else. And then obviously the most obvious pain is constantly trying to get those range of motions back. And I guess like the pain that I've been experiencing since taking the cast off is that frustration of like not being where you were right before you broke up. I think that's like, it's obvious when I say it out loud, but in your mind, you kind of imagine the situation where cast comes off and you're just you again. But you're not. It's like you go from one arm to 1.5 arm to 2 arms eventually again. You know, it's been like things like maybe I hop on a game and my muscle memory is completely and utterly frazzled and I'm just missing shots left, right, and center, or I can't grab the mouse properly. And it's actually like the weirdest part is small things like that were making me feel more even more invalid than when I had the cast on. Because I guess when you have the cast on, in your mind you have an excuse, and there is still an excuse when you take it off, but it's not as apparent. And I remember just like I was getting ready to just throw things around the room as if I could, right? Because I couldn't turn my hand enough to grab a mouse, or I had to do this weird hunch over just to be on the desk, or I, still couldn't hold a bottle straight, or I couldn't like clean the dishes in my sink, right? Things that I was expecting to be able to do. I was quite confident that as soon as the cast came off, I was going to go to the shop and start buying food to cook at home. I haven't done that still because I don't have the full range of motion. I'm getting there, hopefully. I want to start cooking some healthy stuff in the next few days instead of ordering burgers and pizzas from Uber Eats all the time. Why some of those pizzas have been pretty good. But I guess the point here is I just want to share this little bit of a story so that people have an insight. Because as I said, I think this is something that I wouldn't really have thought about as much. I said in the previous video I consider myself quite an empathetic person. I can relate to things. But you can see the need for someone in physical pain or like, they're injured or whatever, that they need assistance or might need assistance. But what you don't appreciate is you're so fixated on the physical limitations they have, you don't realize the psychological damage, the psychological limitations that are now put in place on them, their ability to be happy, content, or whatever, because of being in that state. And for me, it was something, I've been over this, right? The way I was kind of hard on myself in the event that we were working, and I was actually getting confidence high just before I broke my arm, and that like brought me down. And I'm not sure if I would have clocked it if it wasn't for that relation, even after being in the break myself. If it wasn't for the fact that I was on such a morale high, it was high, it was soaring, it was going up and up and up, but then for it to plummet because I broke myself and I was just like my mind was gone. So I've grown to appreciate that, and that's something I won't take for granted, and I'll always keep in mind whenever I see people in that state. I just want to do this because, like, if if you've had a break, or you broke something, or you're injured or whatever, or you've got a friend that's injured, it's like, I think this is a good thing to realize from someone who's been there, is like, if you're there yourself, don't worry, that feeling of invalidity, you're not alone. And if you know someone who has gone through this, appreciate that you want to help, but like help in the right moments. Let them still be their own independent human being. Don't make them feel like a baby or something less than human. But that's going to be it. Thank you for watching this again, guys. I'm going to round this up here. If you enjoyed what you saw, be sure to upvote, like the video, leave comments of anything, any sort of experience you had. Maybe you had a break, you want to share your experience. I'd love to hear it. And if you've got any ideas for the next video, be sure to put them down below and share with your friends. I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. Don't know what it's going to be. That's the exciting part about this. You never know what's coming next. See ya.